Hi, our show today features 4 members of the Milford Town Library staff, Sue Edmonds, Pat Partlow, Michelle Ferrucci, and Johnna Cooley, and they are here to tell us about the upcoming 30th anniversary of Milford Town Library, which is being celebrated on Saturday, May 14th, along with the Celebrate Milford celebration.
Welcome, and wow,
Thank you very
that's
much.
a hard act to follow.
That was 2 breaths, not 1.
So, tell us about it.
Well, I think Michelle Ferrucci, who is the chair of the committee, will start.
Okay, you get to start.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And I'd like to send a shout out to the 3 members that couldn't be here. Annie Barad, Larry Lothar, and Deborah Eastman. Thank you, guys, for all your help.
Okay. So can you tell us, Michelle, what's going on May 14th?
Well, we are going to be celebrating our 30th anniversary in the building that we are in.
And it seems like yesterday I was at the groundbreaking with Jimmy Breslin and the then Secretary of State.
I remember it well.
So, and that was longer than 30 years.
Yes, it was. A bit longer.
You're much younger than too.
I know.
Much younger.
We had talked about having a little anniversary celebration because we'd like to celebrate good things. And it just happened to coincide with the Celebrate Milford event. So Sue thought it'd be nice to tie it all together, which is where we're at.
Okay.
And it's come along quite nicely.
And what are some of the activities you'll have?
Some of the activities we are going to have across the street where the Celebrate Milford will be housed, we are going to have a table in the kids zone, and that will include like some information about the library, some pamphlets and brochures and what we have to offer, as well as something for the kids. Face painting, a craft or 2, something to keep them occupied. We also have some volunteers, some of our own children, that will be dressed as storybook characters, mulling about the crowds too.
What type of characters?
My daughter Chrissy is going to be Cinderella.
Okay.
We have Batman, Darth Vader or some Star Wars creature,
Okay.
and
Snow White.
Snow White, and one more.
I
Oh,
think
the
you're
Cat
gonna
in the
have Elsa,
Hat.
Cat in the Hat.
And an Elsa and a Cat in the Hat. We have several other small costumes that we're trying to fill with
Okay.
bodies. We are going to have a lot of volunteers, Girl Scouts, as well as not just staff members, children's, but other people from the young adult department at work that we're
Okay.
connecting with.
Hmm.
And then at the library, they're going to have a parade that starts at 10 o'clock, and that's going to go around the block.
Right, it's going to start at Stacy Middle School, go up to Congress Street, and then come down Walnut and end in front of Memorial.
And that should be fun. And then we will have tours of the library between 11 and 2, and they will be guided by our Girl Scouts.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to earn a badge for that. So that's wonderful in itself.
Okay.
And then we will have a speaker, Mary Ann DeCina. She was a
She was
former...
the chairman of the building committee?
Yes, she was. And she was a trustee as well.
Okay.
And she is lives at the Cape now, but she is scheduled to be there.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to see her. And then we have a raffle going on. It's book-related, of course. Sort of like guess how many pages are in this book for each, the adult, the young adults, and the children's, and we have gift cards. And we will have a cake cutting, light refreshment. There's other things going on too all around, but maybe we can share. Share the speaking.
Well, you did a good job of
Thank you.
informing everybody what's going to be happening.
Pat, what's going on?
Well, one of the things that we're doing is a story walk, and what a story walk is, Story Walk was created by Ann Ferguson in Montpelier, Vermont, where she worked for the Vermont Department of Health. So she actually wasn't a librarian. Ann was, she was trying to think of ways to prevent or lessen the impact of chronic diseases in adults and children by increasing physical activity. And she wanted to find something that was fun for families to do together out in a natural setting. So what she came up with is a story walk. And what it is you take like a big book. I don't know if you've ever seen the big books we have at the library for kids and for adults to read to groups of children. And they're bigger pictures, bigger lettering. And we post them outside so that it gets families together outside walking and reading at the same time. So you're not only
good.
getting exercise, you're also reading a story along the way.
Which
so
is great.
Wow.
that will be set up in the library park on
There'll be
that
big
day.
letters so he can read them.
Well, actually, even though all my kids are in their 20s, I can almost remember word for word all their favorite children's books.
Oh, wow.
Well, I can tell you the book we are doing. It's called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie.
Oh,
They might
Chances
remember
are
that
you'll want
one.
another one. By the author, if
Yeah.
you give a moose a muffin,
Yes.
Yeah.
and several of those books,
If
yes.
you give a pig a pancake, yeah. So, and like Michelle said, we're going to be doing crafts up at the park with the kids too. So,
Okay. Johnna, what do you have to add in?
I just think it's really exciting that, you know, we're going to be part of Celebrate Milford, and, you know, that we're having our 30th anniversary at the new library. You know, I started in the old library when I was 2. No. I was in high school.
Which, for
and-
those who don't know,
Yeah.
was Memorial Hall.
Yeah.
And I remember you had to climb up the steps going around to get up there.
Yep.
It was gorgeous. That building is just amazing. And
I found it intimidating.
did
actually,
you
yes.
really?
What, the new
I just
library?
The old
loved
one.
it.
Oh, the old one.
I love the architecture. I love the walls, the wooden bookcases that were in there. I just thought it was really neat. I think I was maybe intimidated when I was little going in because it just seemed so huge to me. And then, like, our library is so much bigger than the old library was. You couldn't even put books on the shelves.
I just remember how small it was inside when you
Yes.
finally got up the
Varies.
stairs.
Yeah, it was. The turrets were nice, though.
Yes, they were.
And the children's room was in one of the turrets.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
surprised you guys need to give people tours of the library. Does that mean there are people who still have not yet walked into the Milford Town Library?
Well, that's one of the reasons we wanted to participate in Celebrate Milford, because we felt that us being part of it, along with the Youth Center and the Historical Commission and all the other activities that are happening at the park with the, you know, sports drills and everything, that people would be out and they'd take the time to come down and visit that whole area of culture in that part of Milford.
How many members do you have in the library right now? How many people?
We have around 15,000 people,
Wow.
cards.
Cards.
And there's 27,000 people in Milford.
Okay, now how many of the 15,000 actually live in Milford?
Most of them are supposed to be living wills. They have our library card number, which
Right.
is a prefix. So we've got on our prefix about 15,000 people.
Wow. Well, that's a lot.
Yep.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And what's really great is that all 3 of these people have been there almost 30 years, and they've seen the library change from Memorial Hall. And then when Paul Curran, who passed away last year, he was adamant with Mary Ann DeCina to get a better library for Milford. The other library was from 1858. It worked out well, but like anything, communities outgrow what they have. And with Paul really being adamant, I think all 3 of you knew Paul better than I did, and you knew how he cared about the library, he cared about people, and that he really was the major force behind getting what we call the new building in 1986.
Wow.
So when will you stop calling it new, in about 100 years?
Probably.
Maybe. We've never had a place to call our own, and this is the town's own library. It's a big thing. I still get the goosebumps. I think it's a wonderful thing for a town to be so cultural and to be so conscious of,
It is the largest library in the area.
and we still have people that come in and say, wow, look at this place. I
Well-
didn't know you had all this. So we do get new people in all the time, and
Yes.
they're excited, and we're excited to have them.
Well, that's a pretty good participation rate. I mean, 15,000 is a lot of people.
Yeah, we have high usage
Yes.
in all
And
areas.
Michelle works in what's known as the technical services area, so she sees the books come in, the videos, the DVDs, and she's also the one who polishes all the DVDs when they get dirty.
We do.
So she's down there, she sees what people
Any
are taking out.
scratches, bring it to my attention.
Okay.
Wow.
And hardcover books are still holding the line against e-books, correct?
Yes, right now, I think we're 60-40, 60% still hardcover or printed books and materials, and it's creeping up, a lot more DVDs. When the library first opened, it was all videotapes,
Yes, it was.
and now that there's no videotape collection at all. Even the cassette tapes, we have the books on tape.
I don't know, I read all the magazines and newspapers on my tablet, but I still like holding a book when I'm going to read a book.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of
Me too.
people.
It's just the feel of it, the history of it.
The smell. you
Well,
know, the
Pat does the story hours too, and she can tell you how things have changed there. You know, how you can, you know, what you're doing with drop-ins, you're doing a lot with toddler times, you're doing a lot with the story, and they want to be interactive. I like the one where they throw the parachute up and the balloon.
Oh, yeah, that's taught all the time, and yeah, they do a lot of physical things, not only reading stories, but
You make it fun.
do a lot of, you know, reciting Mother Goose rhymes and stuff like that too, because it helps with memory skills and things like that. We're learning a lot of new things about
No.
brain development.
Yeah, I mean, the
How it
library's
helps
doing a
kids
lot of, right,
learn.
you guys are doing a lot more in that area as opposed to just providing books.
What
Right.
always amazes me, there could be 20 kids in that room with Pat or maybe one of the other librarians, and they're all happy, they're all engaged, and it doesn't, and then the crafts, and it's really good. I like to see it from the window from the
You
circulation
mean they're
desk.
not texting yet?
They're not texting yet.
Maybe.
They will be soon.
Yeah.
They will be soon, as soon as they understand the English language.
And then the other one that we really like doing is the Books with Beanie.
Yeah, Books with Bean. Bean is our therapy dog who comes in once or twice a week. It depends on his schedule. He is awesome. And he's really a wonderful companion for kids who are struggling with reading aloud. Some kids just will read to him. Some kids will just go and cuddle up with him for the 15-minute appointment that they have with them. But it's amazing.
It's a therapy dog.
Yes,
Yep.
he's a therapy dog.
They're
Comes
great.
right up to you, you pat him. Oh, he's
They're great.
wonderful.
Dogs are
Very
great.
gentle. He's very gentle.
Yeah.
More
yes.
warm-blooded than the statue of Dewey out on the side of the building.
Who will be wearing a Dr. Seuss hat on our special day?
Yes, he
Dressing
will.
him up.
Oh, wow, wow. Periodicals, what do you do with periodicals?
We still get them. We're slowly deciding. A lot of them aren't printing anymore, they're ceasing. So we're sort of looking into electronic periodicals too. Either through the Overdrive or there's some other ones out there that we were thinking about. Yeah,
Okay.
same kind of circulation and probably, you know, loan periods as
Right.
well.
You guys do offer a huge variety of electronic books.
Yep, through Overdrive and also the e-book catalog with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Right. What I like is it actually just disappears. You don't have to carry it back.
Right.
It just disappears off my tablet when time is up.
Right.
Well, Johnna works circulation. She sees a lot of people coming in and out too. Just not for books, but for the museum passes.
Yeah, a lot of DVDs, books on disc, that's huge. And we're part of a library system where you can borrow almost anything from any library. And it's free, you know, unless you're late with it. And that's the best part of being part of a library is all the things that you can borrow. And it doesn't cost you anything as long as you return on time. And, you know, you can't afford to go out. And a lot of people can't, just to go to the store and buy whatever they want.
I know. Mary
It's-
Frances
yeah.
Best taught me how to work that system on the computer.
Yeah,
So I order all my books from home, and then I get a text when they're at the library, and go get them.
it's
Okay.
nice.
And on that line, Kevin, I feel like I want to say this. It seems like I started at the new library when I was 23 years old. I was just turning 23, so I was young, forward-thinking, you know. And it seems like since I've been there, the library people that worked there in the past, everybody was of the forward-thinking. We never really ran into anybody that, you know, oh, change, what do we do? We jumped in and we're like, yes, more things to offer, more people to bring in. And it has really been steadily that way. And I believe we were the test site many a time for for different programs that were launched because of the size of our building and our patronage. And it's always been a very positive place to work and really exciting. You wouldn't think the library, but it is. It's a really
Yeah.
cool place to be.
Cool, that's a nice word. I
Yeah.
like cool.
It's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, because I'm thinking when you first started there at the building, you had to stamp, and now we just scan, and we have to have the scans for the smartphones.
Yeah,
So
we can
things have
use it
changed.
for the
People put their
smartphones.
library card on their smartphone, we scan it.
Scan the smartphone.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Barcode.
Interesting. That's, oh, that's, wow, that's a significant change.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the two of you probably started with the stamp and the
It
rubber
was,
and.
it was a machine that you actually put the person's library card that had a little metal chip in it. Do you remember that, Kevin?
I do.
I remember.
And it would take 2 or 3 of your fingers off as you were checking someone out. Well, now it's just a laser like you get in the supermarket.
Yeah.
So it's much more advanced.
Wow. Any other exciting things going on at the library?
Well, on the day of our celebration or in general?
General.
Well, in general, like Sue mentioned, we do have all the children's programs, and the young adult room is
Yep.
always bustling. They always have, homework, kids doing homework, movie nights and crafts and different events going on there.
I've noticed your computers on the main level are always packed.
Yeah, they
Because they're
are
right there when you walk in, and I've never seen them
Yes.
vacant.
very busy.
Very busy.
Yeah,
and we have
last month we had over 1,026 hours of session time
Wow.
on the computers.
Yeah.
And that time is free, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody can't afford the what do they call them, the ISP fees or I don't want to name vendors, the various connection fees, you can
Go
go
to the
right to the
library.
library and do
Yep.
it.
As long
Or
as
you
you
can
follow the guidelines.
You can bring your laptop as well with the Wi-Fi that we have.
Okay.
It's
Free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we had about 1,500 accesses.
On the
At-
free
on
Wi-Fi?
On the free Wi-Fi hotspots.
Now, how many
Wow.
people can sign on at once in Wi-Fi?
We have the capacity to do 40 people,
Uh-huh.
but generally, we only have like 20 at one time. And
That's
if
a
they
lot,
are, it's quick. It's a device, they don't want to use their data up on their phone plan, they'll come and use this, devices there, plus their computers.
That's almost expected today. I mean, you go to any donut shop or coffee shop or
That's true.
anywhere, and they're advertising free Wi-Fi, so people can
It's a
Yeah.
great
download
magnet.
everything.
Are there any security things that you have going on in your Wi-Fi? Or-
It's a hotspot, because we
Okay.
do it through the CW Mars Library Network.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a lot more freedom on the Wi-Fi than you do within our local area
Local
network.
area, okay.
Okay.
A little more sensitive information.
Right. So that's a little more protected also.
Yeah.
Okay, the question I have now is, what would you like to see in the future?
I'd like to see the young adult room open the entire time the library is open. We have a lot of homeschoolers that come in and they want to pick out young adult books, and they have to actually get a librarian to open up the room to let them in. And, trying to pick out a book while someone's standing there waiting for you to finish, I think it should just be open. We used to have it open all the time, and people would go down with their muffin and coffee in the morning with their laptop and work on stuff. The only place you can eat in the library is in our young adult room
Oh, okay.
at the tables there. And the tables were actually donated by Dairy Queen
Oh,
when they
wow.
renovated. They
Oh,
gave
wow.
us the
Oh, wow.
tables for the room because we didn't have enough money to furnish
That's
the
great,
room.
that's great. Now, as in Johnny Carson's and the great Karnak, 2 to 9, what is that?
2 to 9 is usually when the young adult room is open from Monday through Thursdays. And then Fridays, 2 to 6. Saturdays, sometimes, is it 10?
It's always 9 to 5.
9 to 5?
Yeah.
But then the young adult room gets shut down sometimes if we're short-staffed. But it's a great room. We just did a second round of renovations in there, and it's brightly colored. It's one of my favorite rooms.
Now, is there a reason why it's not open? Is it a staffing issue, or?
It's staffing. I know sometimes it looks like there are days when we have a lot of staff, but unfortunately, life happens, and there's sometimes when we do our best to keep it open, and it's open a lot. And, we try and do what we can.
What you can?
What we can.
The kids come in at 2, so it seems,
And that seems like a
Logical,
logical time, kids come in at
Right.
2. So what you're saying is really the ones that are impacted mostly are the homeschool.
Right, they come
people.
in during the day.
Right.
While they're in school, they'll come in to pick out books or to
Oh, okay.
research and do their, so it does impact them. And
Okay.
there is a lot of homeschoolers in our area, and
Mhm.
they do come in and use the library a lot, so.
Would seem that it might be one of those things where you could have a 1 or 2 days a week where you have it open specifically for that. I mean, then it would be a staffing, you'd have
Well, we have been talking recently with some homeschoolers and see what we can do.
Oh,
But
good.
again,
Yep.
it's a
everything
manpower.
is fluid. That's the way we we are in the library.
Fluid.
Fluid. I think we're pretty fluid. 1 minute you're in circulation, 1 minute you're in technical services. You cover a lot of different
We wear
desks.
different
And
hats.
that's the
Yep, we
great
do.
thing about staffing is that everybody, and that's what I want to see too,
Goes with the flow.
goes with the flow. And and this library is very lucky to have a staff that's very well cross-trained and is able to fill in when we need, because I mean, some days we've had like several people out. And what's great is the staff takes over and they really make sure that we do work.
Someone makes sure it works.
Well, that's why I'm there, but
No,
that's
no, what-
besides me.
No, well, it would seem that as a result of training and whatever, that you've instilled that everybody's flexible enough to fill in, which is a
Yeah,
good thing.
we're everybody's great like that.
Good. Good, and then what do you sit in your office and smoke cigars and talk on the phone?
No, it's Tipperillos
Oh, Tipperillos.
with a neat bourbon.
Oh, good, very good. Like that.
Yeah,
Oh, we'll have to come over and share cigars.
share a bourbon and Tipperillo,
Yeah,
okay.
there you go.
It's a smoking club library.
There you go. What would you like to see changed?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've changed a lot since I've been there for 28 years, and the children's room's been changed over. We have a much bigger space now than we had once before. So actually, we took over the space where the young adult area used to be upstairs in the library years ago. So right at this point, I think everything is great. And our young adult librarian is doing a lot of things with the kids. We're trying to do more. Her goal is to do more things with them, like after school or in the evening, attract more kids to come to the library, maybe to do their homework or just hang out and maybe do coloring. She's starting a teen book group once a month, which is great. And then on Saturdays, we're going to be doing movies and crafts. And some of them will be for all ages, some of them won't. But if people need to know more information about any events that we'll be having at the library, there is a link off of the webpage. And you can click on that link, and it will take you right to the calendars. You can print them out at home, or parents can look at them and see what programs they like to bring their kids to.
And it's your turn. What would you like to see?
I feel a lot like Pat does in that. I think that we are very much in line, or I like to say above line than a lot of libraries. And I'm not cutting any of the library down, they're all wonderful. But we are very progressive and open-minded, I think, as a group, and I think that matters. I think that to make a small answer to that question, I would like to make sure that change is always changing. Does that
That's
make
good.
sense?
No, that makes sense. Always open to change. How
Always.
about you, Sue? What would you like to see?
I like what's going on too. I think, like everybody said, people are very progressive, they care, they do help out. Again, the cross-training's been great. Everybody wants, anybody who walks into that library to feel comfortable,
We do
no
try
matter
to,
where you work in the
we
library.
try to get different interests going in the library. We have display cases, I'm sure you've both noticed in the library. They're really interesting, always interesting, I think, even the children's room and the adult area. And we even have one in the Paul Curran room that is very interesting, all the history in there. And that's something that is done by our patrons.
Well, my wife did a Santa Claus display one time.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's still good.
There's some pretty
I
remarkable
was kind of hoping she'd
collections.
leave some of them. No, I'm just kidding. So if you had a magic wand that you could touch anything, and you just touch it and it would change, what would be that? What would you touch?
I think
Parking.
everybody would say parking, but
There you
the
go.
parking, yes.
Parking.
You know, you sort of asked what I could change. I'm being a realist. We're downtown, and I'm glad we're downtown, but parking is an issue because wherever you park, it's not going to be close enough. And then with a buses system possibly coming through, we're sort of hoping that we'll be on the bus route. That would be another thing I'd like to change, as I think for accessibility.
No, you try to get to the library at the same time Stacy Middle School is
Oh,
letting
that's
out.
tough.
Yes.
That's
Forget
tough.
it.
Oh, that's
All
tough.
the parents are in your parking lot blocking it.
Well, I could see why in 1986 they felt they wanted to keep it down there towards the center of town, because they had Stacy, Middle School East, and they wanted to make sure that everybody together with the youth center and the historical commissioner, we are sort of the cultural center of Milford.
Well, and
Right.
with the change, with the improvements in the youth center, I mean, it really is located in a convenient spot where people can walk to conveniently rather than being out on the outskirts. So the location, I think, is good. Parking, it would, clearly,
Yeah.
it would be nice to have more parking.
And I think that's what's going to be showcased on May 14th for all of us, between the three of us, how much we do participate in Milford life.
Yeah,
Okay, in the time remaining, which is running out, Saturday, May 14th, from what time in the morning till when?
We're open 9 to 5 on the 14th, and no matter what, if they have a rain date for Celebrate Milford, we will be celebrating on May 14th.
Okay, and people can go to the library and to Town Park
Yes.
and see both things there.
Mhm.
Okay, and on that, we're out of time, and thank you all for coming.
Well, thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.